Right now, somewhere between 1/3 and half of every human being alive on this planet is carrying a parasite inside their brain. They do not know it. They have no symptoms. They are going about their day completely unaware that something else is living in their neurons. The parasite is called Toxoplasma gondii, and what it does to the brains of the animals it infects is one of the most unsettling discoveries in modern biology. This is not a story about a rare tropical disease. This is a story about a microscopic organism that may have already found its way inside your head. Toxoplasma gondii is a single-celled parasite. It infects warm-blooded animals, birds, livestock, rodents, and humans. It is estimated to infect up to 3 billion people worldwide. Most of them will never know. In healthy adults, the immune system contains it, walls it off, and the parasite enters a dormant cyst state, tucked quietly inside muscle tissue and brain cells, waiting. But waiting for what? To answer that, you need to understand what Toxoplasma actually wants. Like all parasites, it has one goal: to reproduce. And it can only complete its reproductive cycle inside one specific host: a cat. Any member of the cat family. That is the only place Toxoplasma can sexually reproduce and produce the eggs that spread to new hosts. Every other animal it infects is a dead end, a holding pattern, a vehicle it needs to get back to a cat. So Toxoplasma evolved a solution. It rewires the brain of its intermediate host to make that animal less afraid. Specifically, less afraid of cats. Researcher Robert Sapolsky at Stanford University has studied this extensively in rodents. What he found is extraordinary. A rat infected with Toxoplasma does not just become less fearful of cat odor, it becomes attracted to it. The same neural circuitry that normally fires in terror when a rat smells a predator begins firing instead with something closer to curiosity. The parasite has reached into the rodent's brain and flipped a switch, turning survival instinct into something that looks almost like attraction. The rat walks toward the cat eats the rat. Toxoplasma completes its cycle. This is not accidental. This is targeted manipulation at the neurological level. And here is where it gets personal. Humans are not the target host. We are the dead end, the same holding pattern as the rat. But we have the same brain architecture, the same neural circuits, and Toxoplasma does not know the difference. Researcher Jaroslav Flegr at Charles University in Prague has spent decades studying Toxoplasma-positive humans. His findings are hard to ignore. Infected men in his studies showed measurable differences in reaction time, risk tolerance, and behavior compared to uninfected men. Infected women showed a different but equally distinct behavioral profile. Both groups showed subtle but statistically significant personality shifts. Flegr himself tested positive for Toxoplasma and has stated publicly that he believes it has affected his own behavior in ways he cannot fully account for. His findings remain controversial and are still debated, but the consistency of the data is difficult to dismiss. The parasite has also been linked in separate research to elevated rates of schizophrenia. People with schizophrenia are statistically more likely to test positive for Toxoplasma antibodies than the general population. The mechanism is not fully understood, but the correlation is consistent enough that it has been replicated across multiple independent studies in multiple countries. You get Toxoplasma the same way billions of others have: undercooked meat, unwashed vegetables, contact with cat feces. And once inside you, it forms cysts in your brain that your immune system keeps dormant, potentially for the rest of your life. There is no cure for a chronic Toxoplasma infection. There is no way to remove the cysts once they have formed. Treatment exists for acute infection, but not for the dormant stage that most of the world's infected population is carrying right now. So tonight, the next time you feel an unusual impulse, an irrational risk, a moment where your behavior surprises even yourself, it is probably nothing. It is probably just you. But somewhere between 1/3 and half of the people watching this are carrying a parasite in their brain that evolved specifically to make its host act against its own survival instincts, and they will never know.